Well, it looks like I'm now a proud member of the Sons of the American Revolution, and there's Feather there. There's Paws. See Paws right there? He's behind a board. There he is. There he is. He looks like he's all black there, but he's got 4 white paws and a white on the bottom. Onyx, you see? Hi. So, it went through the state, and the guy at the state is a real stickler for, accuracy and stuff. Little Onyx, so it should go through. It's going to go through. I mean, it is really through. If it goes through the state and it goes through the genealogist and it goes through the local chapter, it's going to go through national. Just going to have to wait 1 to 3 months. But guy already got a call today. Says you're in. So go to the meetings and all that. So, but one thing I like about that, besides, it's kind of hard to get in there because the records are. From the 1700s are pretty tough to come by. Like, in other words, the census records will say just head of household. It's like if you go to get into Sons of Confederate Veterans, you only have to go back to 1861, 1865. But American Revolution, you're going back another 80 years. So, and the records get a lot more sparse. So, I'm gonna, but what's cool about it too is, it's something whereby it's both from South Carolinians, and my point always has been with the Confederacy is that it was a war for Southern independence, exactly the same type of reasons, probably with more reason the South had, that the American Revolution occurred. Being a member of both organizations now, it's a good thing because, it's because they're both from South Carolina. South Carolina almost seceded in 1828 also over the tariff. And one thing, I've been kind of harping on this stuff about, they call it heritage. And, I really think you ought to call it Confederate honor. Heritage is actually kind of like a tradition, just handed down. Like, whatever you do or whatever you wear, it's pretty much, it's traditional attributes, more or less. Any attribute or immaterial possession that is inherited from ancestors, practices that are handed down from past by tradition. It's traditions, right? And I don't really think it's best to call it Confederate heritage. I think it's best to call it Confederate honor. And if you look at the word honor, as was by the Roman emperors, the ancient Romans, not the Roman emperors, but some of them anyway. It's greatness of soul, live according to cardinal virtue of justice, rendering to every person their proper due. Never ruled by narrow self-interest. So you put the group ahead of your own self-interest. That's what honor is about. And moral decisions are according to unchanging principles that are steady and unshifting, rather based on pleasure and pain. In other words, whatever the thing is, the mode of the day is, that is really what describes it the best, right? This one here. There's a little female too, this Onyx, just like her mom. I thought this one was a male because it was pretty rambunctious, but I looked back there with a flashlight the other night and I says, well, it's a female. I think that guy there is a male, Dixie. I don't really get a good look because these guys, Paws and Dixie are a lot more shy than this one. So, anyway, yeah, I figured I'd put this out because I'm pretty happy. It's been a while because I think the one genealogist was like not really doing his stuff. It's been a few years, man. It's been about 4 years since I originally applied, and so I'll be in the Sons of the American Revolution with my ancestor lineage going back to South Carolina, and there's actually 4 of them, and they're all attached with General Francis Marion's brigade, as a matter of fact. And look, Dixie's freaking scratching her claws on my Cooper snow tires. It's not that you're not a tiger cat, so it ain't gonna matter. Yeah, I'm pretty glad to get this, and I always look at it like this. This is, America's got certain unchanging principles that are steady and unshifting. That's what American honor is. That's what Confederate honor is. You know, the problem is the money doesn't like it. Now, one thing unique about my heritage, although I can't prove it, it's from my mom's side. She's Italian. She's got plenty of Italian DNA. Enough to consider her like the typical native. You know, she's got 68% Italian DNA. A typical native has between 66 and 74%. But she's got some English and Jewish and East European. And that does fit the story. So I always knew this story about the Duke, my great-grandfather being the illegitimate son of the Duke. And when I started digging into the records in, England, not that I can get, a birth certificate that says, yeah, you're born from the Duke, but there's a lot of stuff that really dovetails into the story. Well, it turns out later on in 2010, this Lord Greg Hallett, he found that through archives that the actual father of the Duke, Albert Edward, was Lionel Nathan Rothschild. So my great-grandfather's father was the Duke, which is great-great, but it'll be great-great-grandfather. My third great-grandfather would actually be Lionel Nathan Rothschild, although try proving that garbage, man. You ain't gonna prove that, I mean, my great-grandfather couldn't get in with he was trying to get in with that, he was going to England and all that sort of little trips, but he didn't make this story up. They gave him a special last name. It's the only last name there is that's like that in Italy or anywhere, and because his father was the Duke, and the Duke later became Edward VII, and the Duke, when he was a young Duke, he was known as the Playboy Prince, and he's had several illegitimate children, so it's not as crazy as you think. I went over some of this story before, but this kind of puts me in a unique position because having that lineage and having the American Revolution lineage and a Confederate lineage, so it kind of puts me in a unique position. I don't know how that's going to benefit, but it might help me with telling the truth the way it is. And I am very, I never realized, I have been pro-Jewish way before I knew any of the stuff about, the Rothschild link. I never knew that. I mean, I just found that out a couple years ago. I didn't find out about it in 2010. But for years, I always worked for, very aggressive Jewish businessmen. I always got along with them really good. I seem to click with them a lot better than anybody else. And it's Feather, except on the air conditioner. So, I don't know, I'm not sure. I mean, I can't prove that. But I can tell you this, it's probably going to come in handy someday because I think a lot of times where people are pro-Confederate shoot themselves in the foot as they get anti-Semitic sometimes. And, think about who was the guy who was really the brains behind it. The Confederacy, as they say, the real mind behind it. I mean, yeah, Jefferson Davis was the president, but who was the big Judah P. Benjamin, right? Judah P. Benjamin was a Jewish guy. Follow what he said, So, I mean, there's people like Soros, gives everybody a bad rap, and then there's, true Jews and Soros are opposites. I just got to tell you that. And I think a lot of Christians do realize that. I mean, there's Christians out there that are very pro-Israel and pro-Judaism, but, I don't know, so it probably gives me a little more, it probably, because I'm not out here to, I'm just out here to tell the truth. I mean, to me, honor is the right word to use versus Confederate heritage. Even if, like, you hear that term, heritage, not hate, I'm like thinking, what are you taking such a defensive position for? It's almost like, you're almost agreeing that, the Confederacy was about hate, it was just trying to be independent. It's all about taxes and, bleeding the South dry from the North. Little guys underneath there, see him? Black dot down there, that's onyx. Well, female, it's a chick, it's a female. I keep thinking it's a dude, because the way it is, but it is a female. And, I always look at it, the expression ought to be honor, not hate, even if you use that, honor, not hate, right? To me, that sounds a lot better. So, anyway, and the old El Camino is like pretty much done here. I ordered some performance wires from Tennessee Speed Shop. I'll put them on here pretty soon. And that ain't hard to do, 1-843-6572 to fire an order. And the thing runs. I mean, it starts up, the cam's broken in, no oil leaks. And I need to put a quart of antifreeze in it. It's got distilled water in it. And set the timing. I got a new timing light. I got a couple of other timing lights too. I got to do that, but it's good that it's running though. I mean, it starts right up and stuff, so good to go. Good to go. Yeah. Anyway. I was afraid of, scaring the crap out of my cats before. You see that guy down there? There he goes. He's behind the tire. There he goes. There he goes. I don't know where these guys are going, man. They're running around. They don't go anywhere. So I don't know where the hell they went, but they don't go anywhere. They go within a baby. They don't even go anywhere near the border of the yard. There he goes. So, there he is. I meant to say she. I keep thinking this one's a guy because it's the way it acts, but very rambunctious. This is the biggest one of the three kittens. But they don't go anywhere. They stay right. They don't even go near the border of my yard. They usually just stay right under this carport thing under here. And, they might go around the side, but that's all my property over there. They don't even go, and it's all fenced in with privacy fencing. So none of these cats bother anybody, Fed them about 4 times today already, for crying out loud. So, anyway. Yeah, and I did get my membership card for the knife rights, which is cool. And the SCV, Sons of Confederate Veterans, they did post my, membership dues finally. I was thinking, man, I think they're under attack or something. I don't know if they are or not, but they might be. I think the mailing office freaking screwed them up, and the post office. But they also got my museum contribution, and I'm gonna just give them like probably $100 a month to the museum or the Heritage Fund every month, just 100, instead of freaking giving them a big shot all at once. And I keep buying merchandise from them and stuff. I got some more merchandise coming from them, so I mean, if every member was doing that, I think they'd be rolling in dough. Because 100 a month adds up to $1,200 a year. 600 on it. They'd be rolling in money. But I don't know if everybody can afford to do that, but I can afford to do more, and I might. But I'm trying to get some people up north to give some money to them, and their museum budget. I think it's the one in Tennessee. It's $4 million total cost, construction cost. I think something like that, and just people that are indirectly in my family. They have a second home in South Florida that costs $4 million. A second home, not the first home. So, you think these people would freaking give a few bucks, but once that rusty wheel starts turning, they'll start giving. That's the way I look at it. I got to give them a habit. Hey, you know what? You got to start giving some money. 10,000, you know, a little piddly thing to you. Freaking 10,000 bucks to them is like a penny to me, man. It's like, this guy's got money, man. Some of those people up north, they got money. Big money. So anyway, they can help a lot. As long as they understand what they're given to. Because I always look at it like this. I know I'm going off a little pretty long on here, but, you know, they're attacking American heritage or honor. They're attacking Western honor, which means they're attacking Roman honor and Italian honor. So, you know, that's the way I look at it. It's all working. It's like they're doing, you know, why not all we work together and hit them back, you know, right? It's clown. You better not knock this over, man. This is my fence fence reinforcement thing. This one's a funny cat. Anyway, over and out.